What is your theory about what happens after death? When I die, I hope I get to see the endgame stats, like how many times I cried, lied or fell in love, or even how many good deeds I have done and so on. Perhaps a short story on how my life was, and then the credits. There is nothing after this. Imagine getting a rank based on your stats. B. Or, shit, I thought I aced my life. I always wanted a stat system after death. It could be really fun and interesting. No cap my guy, that'd be a great feature. Yeah, let's add a suggestion to the programmers to add that feature in the next update. Hey you're finally awake. You were trying to cross the border. Skyrim reference? You know it. You just don't exist anywhere in the universe, but only in the minds of people who loved you so much. For a generation, maybe two if you're lucky, what you know about your great-great-grandpa, although we all seem to know about, say, quite a few long dead people, but not many on the scope of it all. Recorded history is such a minuscule sample of human existence. You only need to exist in the minds of those who loved you. That's the beauty of having loved ones. Nothing like before birth. Even if something happens after death, it doesn't really mean anything without consciousness, and consciousness doesn't really mean anything without brain function. So the afterlife could be a huge gay circus for all we know, but if we aren't able to perceive, absorb, consider, or remember it, it doesn't make a difference if it exists or not. You don't remember anything from before birth. Just like you don't remember anything from day one. Doesn't mean nothing was happening. If you ever go into surgery with anesthetics, you all of a sudden wake up hours later. It's like that but with a 404 error and never restarts. Yup, no perception of the passage of time, freaky. It's a meaningless thought because you cannot experience it, but this means that the moment you die so does the entire universe. You'll experience all the time between your death and the eventual heat death of the universe, much like a photon does. Loads of stuff happens, just not to you. Another way to say life moves on. I'd like to think that your last few moments of consciousness stretch out eternally, that in your mind you never really die. Perhaps things get a little more foggy as the years, split seconds go on until you're just in the void, then nothing. Reincarnation would be nice. Life is just a universe experiencing itself after all. Reincarnation would be the worst case. My biggest fear. For most humans, life is suffering. Even tough reincarnation itself is awful. I have my own thoughts about a possible afterlife. Maybe your life starts over again, but you never know you died or had a previous life. You have exactly the same life as before. Everything you did and live repeats itself. This would not be like a video game where you know what will happen. You just live your life like always and is the same experience. And when you die, the cycle repeats itself. Basically, you only exist on your timeline. You don't reincarnate in another thing nor exist in another country in a different time. You just restart your life as yourself endlessly without knowing. Based on this logic, I could have died infinitely, wrote this comment previously and lived the exact same life I have now. But I am unable to know this since this is only my thoughts. Even though this is extremely unlikely to exist, I like to imagine this scenario. Maybe whatever you believe will happen is what happens to you. If you believe nothing will happen, then nothing will happen. If you believe you will be reincarnated, you will be reincarnated. If you believe you'll go to heaven, you will, and so on. This is what I think, and this is also why I envy people who have religious beliefs. Everything goes black and a sign appears saying level 2. Oh come on, this is going to get harder? That's what she said. You respawn in a hospital, then shoved out a sticky wet hole. Your simulation will just reset itself to a new scenario. Or you will see game over, and your friends would say, my turn of the 100-second life machine. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more Reddit videos.